Hello, August. How are you? It's Past Podcast. We'll be recording every day for the month of August. Having to remember not to say April is an adjustment since I just did this a couple of months ago. But this is the past, or the Past Podcast. And we're podcasting each day in August. So check out the show. You might find something new. What is up? What's good? The past is back again. I had a little bit of a slight hiccup with trying to get some shows recorded, but luckily I just got Monday's episode recorded for Podcast Every Day in August, and we're now on to Tuesday. And I hope everyone is doing well today. This is your host, BT Brian, the bandwidth. I almost feel like I need an alias, like the bandwidth killer. I don't know. I truly have so many things that I'm capable of doing. I feel like I'm the podcast plug. People come to me for information that I'm still learning, but I guess that's just one of those things you have to take or understand comes with the territory when you're doing something of this magnitude. Sorry, if you hear a lot of noise, it was because I was trying to find a coaster to put this water bottle on because I don't want it to mess up my table and my little ambiance. Because I can remember at one time I didn't have an ambiance. I didn't have a table. I had to just and I didn't share that in the podcast, but I'll share. I didn't share it in the Monday episode, but I'll share it with you all now. I can truly recall when I would record. When I first got my microphone, I didn't have a table. I would literally have the microphone sitting on the bed or on my futon, my laptop sitting beside it, making sure that I sat perfectly enough to not knock anything over, to not make any noise, put all sounds and everything away from it. And that made the process easier. Like now when I record, and this is even when I go to other places and record, I've been forced to learn one of the most minuscule things about recording. And that's at least with this microphone, aka the Blue Yeti, which is Bay. I always like that plug. And I'll do my normal plugs in a second. Is where and how you record plays a huge difference. If I took the microphone, sorry y'all, and I recorded over in this corner, you'll hear a different sound. Whereas having it in an open area, it's a different sound or a different quality of sound. So I just wanted to share that, like having the recording format I have now is a lot better. So yes, this is the past. Like I said, I'm your host. We are recording these episodes and they're being uploaded on Spreaker. For August, of course, we're doing this every day. Been pretty consistent so far. We're only on day 8, but still it's been pushing along. Some episodes have been kind of tough to push or tough to record between whether getting it done early enough in the day or getting it recorded late enough at night without exceeding the midnight flow. So I'll share this, and this will be kind of a good way to put it in perspective. I may upload the episode and have it good to go on Spreaker, and I may have it on my pastpodcast.com website. Now, if you listen to them on iTunes and you listen to them on other Stitcher, Google Play, things of that sort, it may take longer to get to. It may take longer to get to you, but they're being uploaded. So don't think that he's not doing the shows. He's slipping. Other than today and yesterday, because I was dirt dog tired. I'm not gonna lie. It's usually gonna be a daily episode. You'll hear for this for the past flow. So today, before I have my list. Normally I'm not done lists. It's so funny because I'm looking at the section that had interviews and it's blank because I was like, yeah, I was doing interviews. Haven't really, no, not one. Other than if I do my panel, anyone who knows me, I think, and I guess I can say this, panel podcasts personally work better for me than interviews. And the only reason I say that is because interviews they're personal, they have a bit of a formality to them. It's a format, but I'd rather it be more of a just, hey, we sitting, we chilling, we just having a free fall conversation, just to kill time. And that's mainly my expectation when it comes to how I record. So that's why I think doing my solo shows, I'm kind of with a lot of my other friends who do podcasting, where they kind of just like, hey, I got my own drum. I don't really want anybody else coming in to beat on the drum with me, because I got this. I mean, it's a drum. It's one drum, a couple of sticks, and just a beat. So it's kind of what works. Mike Murphy, you the real MVP for that reference. I'm just going to put it out there. So today's topic is wanting to quit. And wanting to quit goes in numerous directions. Wanting to quit is not just about podcasting. Wanting to quit is not just about social media, branding, networking, any of those things. Wanting to quit entails and engulfs upon life, its decisions, its challenges, the things that we know we're trying to push towards and want to exceed and being better and doing, but life has other plans, or we feel as though, you know what, I just can't put up with this anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and throw in the towel and let it go. Sometimes quitting becomes second nature. And it's ironic that I'm sharing this story, especially with an experience that I had this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead. This is, as I always like to do it, letting down layers of podcasting. And before we continue, I'm going to say this because I want to make sure that I address this. I know there was a point where I was very silent and very delayed in telling who I was. And I think it was because I wanted my podcast to kind of have a hidden identity. If you look at the images when I did the silhouette where I was standing in front of the mic, it worked. It flowed for that moment. But it also was not, it was true to who I was, but it wasn't really what I'm, like, I want people to know who I am and what I'm about. I want people to know that I'm black. I don't, whatever, like, might as well be real about it, because it's not like, a lot of people can be surprised when you are doing certain shows or doing certain things and you're trying to stand out. Like, not having many black men that I've heard do podcasting makes this, and I like I said, there are probably a bunch of them who do podcasts, but as far as doing it in the style that I'm doing it with, sports, video games, technology, I haven't seen it yet. Now, I could be wrong. I'm still learning, still adjusting, still researching, because you never stop learning. And speaking of learning, that was something that I experienced this past Sunday. And this goes perfectly into the wanting to quit option. I quit because this was the exception of quitting, because it was what I defined as rage quit, along with let me just take a break. I was supposed to podcast that day, and I ended up not even doing it because I was just it was just that much happening at one time. But anywho, a friend of mine, me and him, we normally get online. We'll do some social gaming from time to time. Typically, it's NBA Playgrounds. It's FIFA. He done wrecked me in FIFA so many times I done lost count. But I still like playing because it's a way of me. Gaming for me keeps my mind occupied in that other realm that a lot of people don't understand or don't see sometimes. So that's why it's helpful to have or to do. We played 2K together. We played the other different games on Destiny for a while. But the game of choice, well, I'm not going to say the new game, but the game of choice at this moment was Gears of War 4. Now, Gears of War, I'll tell you now, my friend Mark and I know I'm putting names, but oh well, he knows. I don't think he'll be too devastated by it. We've gotten into Gears, and we played a little bit of Gears 3, not much, but we did some Gears 3. We did Gears Ultimate for a while, and when Gears 4 came out, it was kind of a flow of a grind where he would play more off away when I wasn't playing than I did. I really didn't play that consistently, so my ranking is very low. I'm like a level 24. I haven't really gone through story mode. I haven't really done anything to like kind of bump my stats up. I've been pushing heavily, and I think that's what the possibility of a move can help with doing, is to just kind of have days and nights and moments of just, you know what, let me hop on the Xbox, let me just get some rage. And I'll say this and share this to kind of give you a better understanding. Where my current environment is, I could rage, but I have to be like a peaceful rage. Be like, God, man, this, like, I can go to the line, but I can't go into the level of how my true rage is. And I mean, granted, rage does not necessarily always have to mean throwing controllers and breaking TVs. And if you may or may not know those stories, I haven't shared those on any podcast, but I don't mind sharing that story past podcast, bt@gmail.com, if you have more information, have more questions about that. But I digress. So Sunday we hopped on some Gears. Me and him got on for a little bit, and a couple of friends that he knew got on and played with us. Now they're higher ranked players. That's already a red flag for me, because that means I'm not gonna say that they're as try hard, but they know the game and they understand. Like, they sitting here doing call outs of locations, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, tell me something. So it's a matter of learning. It's chemistry. It's like a chemistry thing. But while they were playing, we played a match, and in the middle of the match, it was, you can't just go out and just run out in the middle of the map and just take a chance. It was like, well, you need to tell us. I mean, telling me that after the fact, telling me that after the fact, I understand it, but telling me that and thinking that I'm supposed to know the game like the way y'all play it, I don't know. I mean, we were playing team deathmatch. I'm the team deathmatch guy from Call of Duty era or Black Ops, where it's run and gun. Halo is a little different. Halo, it's more aerial and distant, but I'm just about, hey, all right, they right there, let me go up and kill them. So it's a little different when you playing a game like Gears and you gotta be at a distance, like to lance or someone, and then eventually use a shotgun. And I know a lot of you probably don't play a bit of Gears and don't have a clue what I'm talking about, but if you look up Gears of War 4, you look up the different types of weaponry, you'll understand a lot better, because one gun is beneficial from a distance and one is the close-up shotty. So it's just the way it goes sometimes. I share that story because after that comment was made, I'm sorry for the white noise there for a second. I share that story because after the match, or after, like in the midst of that match, I just quit. And normally I would play through the match, go back to the lobby and say, look, I'm sorry y'all, I'm not a good player. I have to play with y'all another time, something, but I'm just not doing this today. I'm not into it. But that particular moment, I think the inner child in me kicked in, and I quit. And I just was like, screw it, I don't need this. I'm not MLG Pro. I'm not going to esports. I'm not going to any Gears of War tournaments anytime soon. This isn't my hobby. This is my life. And I think it taught me a lesson about wanting to quit, as well as what I call the term that I use a lot now, which is going into the lab. And I've heard a lot of people use this with Street Fighter, where you just got to take an opportunity, turn on the console, get your headset, as I have it set up, get my Glom Tom, sit and be relaxing, and just play and just learn and figure out map control. Get somebody that knows how to play. That's like, even if you can learn with other people, like to just kind of get the basic tools down, like that's what helps. My friend was texting me after the fact and was telling me about how he was able to learn a better position, a better strategy with playing. I got no problem with that. I just went into doing it because I was just being a little stubborn kid. As a reference, I've used numerous times, and my friend referenced it in the podcast Saturday, my co-host. I just took my ball and ran. I was like, I'm good. I'm all right. But that's the gaming realm of it, and it's tough for me to make that reference of saying it's not good to quit, and I had that incident happen. So that's why I shared that before giving. That was kind of like a preface into going into this story. I think by nature, we want to succeed, but we also are feared and scared of failure. We're all scared of failure. Some of us have different levels of fear or scare of failure over other. It's kind of like a level based thing. Because there's some of us that if something were to happen right now, we really wouldn't be too bent out of shape about it. But then there are other instances where, okay, I'm trying to get to this level or trying to get to this point in life, and I'm just not there. And I think people don't understand that it's a case by case scenario, if that makes sense. So I'm just sharing this with you all to get you to understand that your worst times can happen in life. And a moment like a Gears of War moment can happen where you're just like, you're frustrated, you don't know what to do, you're not sure what your next steps or what your next options are. And you feel like you're just kind of being carried along the way. You're kind of just on autopilot. You have to then be able to get that strength and get that build or that motivation to like keep going. And we as people never know the source of where that strength or that energy can come from. For me, I ain't gonna lie, like doing podcasts in the morning like I do them with these, since I've lately found out how to open my windows before doing a podcast, it gives me that push and that drive to, okay, I got something. I'm just kind of like focused on my outdoor moment, and I'm just kind of chilling and just talking. Because going back to speech class, I always, and my mom told me this, and I've had people who make this clear with me numerous times. I've never had an issue with public speaking. Didn't know that or didn't really acknowledge it because everyone's perception of me at one point was always that I was shy. And you sometimes claim yourself as being shy, but in reality you really aren't. And that's kind of the best assessment I can give towards that is when the spotlight's on and when it's showtime, sign me up. I'm ready. I'll take the chance and go out there and take the hit. What's the worst that's gonna happen? They're gonna boo me off stage. They're gonna like it's life, it's challenge, it's adversity, it's transition, whatever you want to call it. Looking back as a kid, like I would stand in front of people, read sheets, stuff like that. I always can remember, and I think my come out of my comfort with communication was when we had a speech class. This was speech 1. And they asked everyone to bring in stuff. And this is what's so ironic now, because I was at one time Team Sony. I mean, you couldn't. The way I brand Apple now, I used to brand Sony like this back then. I had a PlayStation 2, the dance mats. I had the Discman. A lot of that. I had a Discman that was discontinued. I had a Walkman. I think those are discontinued now. I had a song, like as far as my computer setups, my laptop was a Sony, and that was broken, and I always had an emotional moment of like, me and that computer was so close, and it had to fall that one particular day. But yeah, I had a Sony Vaio desktop and a laptop, and I was the Sony guy. Sony didn't have watches, obviously. Phone wise, they weren't making phones, but I was, technology wise, I was in my element. Doing speeches, the reason I gave all that information, doing speeches was what made me not willing to quit. Going to ECPI, going to the technical college I went to at that time, I had to learn not to quit. And it was, I had good grades anyway, but it was points. Even with having the good grades, I was like, man, I'm just not with this. I'm ready to take a break or do something. But I was like literally in the home stretch. So it was like, why stop now? You see yourself, and like I said, I know this is like an odd wanting to quit segue, but it's a legitimate podcast to share these type of stories. by nature, we want to quit. We want to give up. We want to just throw in the towel because that's the easy way out most of the time. But in reality, if you put your effort towards what you're working on, you'll get good results. You just gotta be patient, and you just gotta work through the process. So I'm telling you all this, and I know it's like, all right, you gonna get to a point, Brian, or what's the story? I share this with you all today, and I address these things to make it clear that every day is not going to be great. First and foremost, if you think that that's the case, good luck. Let me know how that turns out. Send me a postcard. Write me an email, as I mentioned the email earlier. But every day is not going to be great. But that also doesn't mean to give up. A lot of individuals who have passed, Stuart Scott, Jimmy V, they all battle with cancer, things of that sort. And, even with Robin currently, like, you have to know how to continue fighting. And also know that the fight, when you fight, it's not just you fighting, it's everyone that's around you who is seeing you through the fight is there to help you with fighting or help you with improving. It's a huge change and it's a huge adjustment because I've had things that have happened to me where I've gotten, had mistakes made, trouble caused, whatever. And after coming out of it, there was an uncertainty in the question of, is this worth fighting for? Do I really want this? Is this really what I'm trying to do? Like, I was sitting question and second guess everything when it was like, it's a reason that this is all happening. So why sit down here and make this more complex than what it is? Just get it done. And that usually falls into that easier said than done category. But you also have to realize and also take heed that if you want more, you have to be willing to take the steps to go for more. More doesn't just happen or just fall in your lap. More is with time, with patience, with life, with living, with experiences. Experiences are life's best teachers. And I probably said that completely wrong. But everything that you experience, everything that you encounter is what makes you experience things in a different manner. This is why having ADD sucks. Because I really don't have it, but I was sitting like mess with stuff, and I'm like, oh wait, let me fix that. But going through things and trying to work on stuff, you're gonna run into walls. You're gonna run into adversity. You're gonna have second guesses. You're gonna have doubts. I have doubts right now about something that I'm trying to do. Should have been did it, but now it's, let me do these small things first, and I've done the small things. Now there's no excuse other than me. So now it's just a matter of me knowing what I want to do. And that's where we are. And I'll talk about that more later in one of the episodes if I have. I think I'll have enough topics to still be able to address that. So, not really bore y'all to death on this one. This is a quick hit story I wanted to share. But as always, thank y'all for tuning in. Always check out social. I'm always posting, trying to get more in a better flow with posting. Have a few stories I've already kind of exposed for the week. I'll be posting more. Haven't really found any big, like, oh wow, this is a story I need to share. But they're coming. So just be patient. And as always, the Paz signing out. Another episode complete. Another show shared. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you checking out any current shows or previous episodes. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can look me up on the Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter under Paz Podcast. If you'd like to go to the website, it is available at pazpodcast.com, where you can listen to this episode as well as previous episodes. Until next time, y'all take it easy.